Good evening and welcome to this Wednesday evening sitting, Zoom sitting here at Mountain Gate. A question came in from a student, and it applies not only to the specific question he's asking, which regards the Koan Mu and how to work on Mu, it also applies to our practice in general. Whether we are working on a koan or not, it doesn't matter. And let me read what he has written. I have a question, but I'm not sure I'm able to express it in the best way. I definitely have this puzzling, but since long before discovering Zen, and Mu Koan also expresses this puzzling. In order to convey this puzzling, should I just hold Mu as much as possible in the out breath, breathe Mu as I read? I don't know how to explain. I think I should convey with all of my feelings, from my guts, the sense of puzzling in the word Mu. Is that correct? Well, it's mostly correct. It's about the puzzling. It's about the perplexity. It's about the assumption that there is something beyond our ordinary way of perceiving things that we're missing or we need to return to because it's important. And that is true. It's not just important, it's freeing. But it has long been a misunderstanding that to work on a koan means to simply repeat the koan. And that is not the case. What is important about the koan, any koan, is the perplexity that it engenders. For example, taking Mu. As you know, the story is that a monk asked Joshu, who is a deeply realized master in Tang Dynasty, in Tang Dynasty, China, and this monk was perplexed because in China in that era, and also pretty contemporary assumptions as well, dogs were not highly regarded, and that's an understatement. They were considered despicable creatures. We had in America some level of disdain for pigs, but I don't think that's as prevalent anymore, and people actually keep pigs as pets. I used to see someone walking a miniature pig. It was the kind that was white except for a black band around its back and its belly. And this person was walking it on a leash in Rochester. Obviously it was a pet. Pigs are considered in modern veterinary medicine to be quite intelligent. But back in ancient China, in the 800s, dogs were not anywhere near considered intelligent. And so this monk was perplexed. He had heard that the Buddha said that all beings have this Buddha nature. And he thought, really? Obviously he had an elevated view of what Buddha nature is, which of course is beyond all views. And that is where part of the perplexity comes in. And he was asking his teacher, does even a dog have the Buddha nature? And Joshu said no, which is what Mu means in Chinese and Japanese. But another monk, or perhaps it was the same monk at a different time, asked the same question of the same master. And this time the answer was yes. So was Joshu just losing it? Or was he seeing something much deeper? And that's the core of the perplexity, and that's the core of the questioning of the koan. So as we extend the out breath, when we're working on a koan, whether it's Mu or who am I, or my face before my parents were born, or the sound of one hand, or one of the advanced koans, the thing is the same. It's the perplexity. And so to tune into the bodily experience of that perplexity, and it's almost like you're reaching beyond knowledge, beyond cognitive experience, beyond any way of realizing the answer through cognition, through thought, through rumination, because it isn't possible to do it that way. But there is another way that human beings are endowed with to understand. And to understand in a way that is eminently freeing. And it is from this stance that we work on koans. So it's not about focusing on the word mu. It is about focusing on the perplexity that the story of mu brings up. Does the dog have a Buddha nature? No. Does the dog have a Buddha nature? Yes. At the same time. What? How can that be? And yet, you've all, well, maybe you haven't all heard of the figure in ground picture that's used in psychology, where there are two, what could be seen as faces in the picture, profiles. But if you look at it in a different way with the same eyes, but a different sense, and it's not an intellectual sense by any means, you're seeing a pair of vases. Albert Lowe used this in a Dharma talk one time, many, many, many years ago. So both have and have not the Buddha nature are true. This is mu. What is it then that this mu is? Or I should say more likely, what is it that this mu represents? That's perhaps a better way of putting it. So we're not concentrating on the word, we're concentrating on reaching beyond words to the truth of what this perplexity expresses. And that's how to work on a koan, no matter what koan it is that you're working with. So let's get going.